Hello.
Hi, hi, Wendy. I'm sorry. Did I get your name right? I apologize.
It's Kimmy. It's fine.
Hi, Kimmy. I know another Kimmy. I'd like to welcome. I'm Andrea. I'd like to welcome you to Declares Delight for Life. It's about life where people share their experience, strength, and hope. And that's what it's all about. You get to share your experience, strength, and hope of things you've overcome in life and or strengths or things that you've won about. It's very simple. You just share your story. How do you like that?
Yeah. Just a little direction. Just being someone. I mean, everybody has a big story to tell because it's their life. It's a big story. So of course, I have no problem telling mine.
Well, just tell it like you want to tell it. That's what we're here about, to have different aspects from different perspectives from different folks. And, everybody has their own perspective, and how you want to share it is up to you. I'm very
Yeah.
open.
Well, I guess I'd like to see. Well, I guess kind of taking it from like what corner. So I guess in a nutshell, I was great student in high school, always been in the medical field. I got my CPR license when I was 12 in the state of Washington, just so that I could help
Are you
babysit.
from, just one question, you're from Washington?
I am Washington State.
Whereabouts in Washington, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm in the well, I'm working in the Seattle area, but I'm currently up in the Lake Stevens area.
Actually, I live down in Puyallup, Washington, so we're both in the same state. So maybe we could meet up sometime if you ever want to. So
Of course, I'd love that. I'd love that. Yeah, it's always great to make new friends and see people face to face as much as we can nowadays.
I
So,
agree.
yeah.
I
But
just
yeah,
thought
no, I love it here.
I do too. I've lived here all my life, so
Mhm.
I'm sorry for interrupting you, but that nice connection was great.
Oh yeah, it was no problem at all. But yeah, so like I said, 12 years old, got my CPR license, just, that little thing, I guess, kickstarted me into the medical field. I became really interested in how, just like how things worked in the human body. So then going from there to fast forward high school, I did 3 years of sports medicine while I was there. Um, did a lot with the high school team, our sports medicine teacher, just learned that much more. And then I was supposed to join the Air Force and go to school to get a doctorate. Things were changed. Young teenager, fell in love. Next thing you know, got married, decided to have kids, all that fun jazz. So my um, career path, I guess, was then fast tracked and altered. Still wouldn't change it. Um, Decided to, get married, have kids, be a mom, but I also still stayed. I got my CNA here in Washington. I worked in, every single corner of the field that you can probably think of for that a CNA could work. Memory care units. I've worked adult family homes, skilled, sorry,
That's
skilled
okay.
nursing facilities, and then hospitals, and then finally planting my roots in with home care because just going back to that time when I was 12 years old and understanding, how to care for, that one person or those couple of people, just being able to focus and have that relationship was a big deal from day one for me. And I'm able to do that in home care. So I've been in home care for 4 years now. Seems like forever, but yeah, it was definitely where I wanted to plant my roots for my professional career. Now I'm in care management and I love it. Able to have that time with, clients or patients or family members. It's really important to me. I'm really big on family. My mom was diagnosed when I was 14. She was diagnosed with MS, and in from there to now over the last 15 years, I'm only 30. Okay.
Just beginning in life.
And so I want to say it's a short amount of time that I've had all these experiences. But yeah, when I was 14, my mom was diagnosed with MS, and I know there's different versions of it, but to put my mom's in a nutshell, so it's easy for everyone to understand, is she has an MS attack and she does not come back from it. So an MS attack would be she would lose sight in her eyes, or she wouldn't be able to walk very well. And something can spring this on, like she would catch a cold and all of a sudden she can't feel her left leg. So my mom has the type of MS where she would catch a cold, so to speak, and she went blind in her left eye. And some people with MS, they have that attack, they get better and they can regain something back. She does not. So she went from up walking, having a good time 3 years ago. She was still now it's 5 years ago, up and functioning. And then now she can't even feed herself and she gets exhausted having a conversation. I have a stepdad who has less than 25% of a functioning heart. And he's just, he is my go-to. He is my rock star. He is my superstar, my hero. He's a veteran and all of that. So, but yeah, so, having my understanding of medical needs really does come from, the backbone is my family. My family has had, um, these trials and these hard times from a medical aspect. And so it's really driven me over these years. And now I'm a mom. I have 4 kids and I love it. I love what I do. I love how I'm learning every day to help others, to help, my family and myself, just being that support figure, and making a difference, whether it's helping, a friend, whether it's helping a patient or just overall just helping somebody reach that top shelf at the grocery store. I mean, it doesn't matter how big the task, how little the task is. That's what gets me going through the day. That's what I've been striving for from since day one. And that's what I shoot for. And that's pretty much my story in a nutshell.
Well, why don't you tell me about some of your challenges and triumphs as a child?
So, challenges. So, I guess one of the big challenges was I'm a child of split home, divorced parents. My real dad, my birth father, he was an Army Ranger. My mom was, just, the stay-at-home mom. Their marriage didn't last. I was young at the time. I think I was 4 when they got divorced. And so those troubles were, just trying to understand and have everyone get along. That was one thing that, just being a child of split parents, you can't make everybody happy. And you learn that at a young age. And or if you don't learn that at a young age, it's very hard. And I think that can help somebody in growing. Maybe they can become, just a little sturdier. Maybe they can shoot for something that's, that they never thought was in their reach, but, it's one of those situations. Or it can hurt somebody. You can think that, you're never going to be good enough, or you're never going to be able to make anybody happy, so going through that piece was really hard growing up. I'm also a middle child. And yes, I do think there is something as middle child syndrome. Um, and here, give me 1 second. My kids just jumped in the room.
That's okay. If you want to bring them into the picture, that's fine too.
I would, but they might they might blush.
That's okay.
Okay.
I got a doggy snoring right now, so she's a
Oh,
vegan. So yeah,
yeah,
we're about life itself here at Declares Delight for Life, and people and family and beliefs and stuff like that.
of
So
course.
I really appreciate how people. Um, some questions about your family.
Yeah.
How has having your children impacted your life and made you feel about yourself, considering you're growing up?
Having my children,
And how has it made you feel as far as, for considering how, what your experience were growing up?
so me having my kids kind of, well, one, it threw me in for a loop. I know with my daughter, when I found out that, I was pregnant with her, it was definitely not in my life plans to have her so early. I was 19. And so, but having them has just, I feel like ever since I became a mom, that's what kickstarted me into my work, my ethic, my um, day-to-day wake up. I mean, I went from being, I guess you can say that person where I graduate high school and I'm staying up late, hanging out with friends, having a summer, all of that fun stuff, to switching. I feel like it was just overnight. I had to wake up. Reality is setting in. There is going to be an 8 a.m., whether I want to or not, eventually coming right around the corner, because now I'm going to be a mom. I feel like without my kids, I wouldn't be here in the situation I am today. Honestly, I don't know where I would be. Um, but at the same time, I wouldn't change today for anything. I wouldn't have changed yesterday for anything. Being a mom is my number one drive today. That's what, it gets me going for what I do. And hopefully I could set a great example for my kids and, be that person. And so that's what, it's really a wake up call from day one when I found out I was pregnant with my first to, skipping down the halls, making fun of it while I'm 9 months pregnant, working in a skilled nursing facility. So, yeah, it drives me every day. I want to set a great example. I want to be, that person that what my kids can, eventually look up to and just say, I see what she did to do everything that she can to give us what we have, and want to be that way too. That's my major motivator.
What is your relationship like with your previous parents that split up? Would you like to share about that?
So my birth father, I don't have any contact with him anymore. He just he kind of, being an ex-ranger, kind of fell off the rocker. His mental illnesses got the best of him, unfortunately. So unfortunately, I don't have any contact with him. My mom, she's in an adult family home, and it's hard for me to see her all the time because having to separate my work brain versus my personal brain, it's, trying to find those ties and not get so emotional, but yet still be um, there for my mom. And she doesn't really remember much. She's got MS, and she's developing dementia with it. And so she's struggling there. But yeah, my mom, I still do have contact with her though. I talk to her almost every night on Facebook. So we video chat with the whole family that are out of state, in state, up north, down south. So we do that all the time. And then I have my stepdad, and he's the one who helped raise me when I was 4, since I was 4. Him, I have a great relationship with. I don't get to see him very often because, again, he's weak heart. He gets a cold and he'll sleep for days. So we're limited on that. This whole COVID has really thrown everybody in for a curve on seeing their friends and family. So, but yeah, great relationship with my stepdad, good relationship with my mom, and then my real dad, not so much anymore.
How this is just, one question dealing with the present moment. How
Mhm.
has COVID affected your life and your loved ones and your job and your dreams and aspirations?
So COVID, um, so for my work, COVID has really brought in some challenges. So again, working with my clients and my patients, just that one-on-one aspect, being able to see and assess someone, face to face, and now having to do it through Zoom or through Google Meets or anything like that, anything along those lines, can it's been a struggle, but it's gotten better over time. um just not being able to see people, it's a struggle. My kids, of course, they're struggling with school. I have to admit it. Working parents, we work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, pretty much. Adjusting our hours as much as we can. Yeah, I work from home the majority of the time, but it's really hard. They had a really big struggle of just seeing, what's the purpose of me getting on the computer every day to talk to my teacher? I don't see the purpose. That was, kind of like their mindset, kind of how it was going. That's how we started off to now they're finally understanding it, but it's still, they're like, we haven't, just even today, one of my kids was like, I feel like I haven't learned a single thing all year. So I'm like, well, communication, they can't just, I mean, they might be able, they still do, but it's one thing to be in a classroom, raise their hand and get called on and have a conversation somewhat face to face with a teacher in a classroom, as opposed to crossing your fingers, hoping they see the little raised hand in the bottom of the screen. Um, it's communication with teachers is very difficult. Um, I've, it's hard for, working parents to not have full access to, like after school, you used to be able to go, and I used to go pick up my kids and get the chance to see one of their teachers and say, hey, how are things going? Now we're lucky if we have enough time on Zoom to get an actual conference in. So really, really strugglesome. The rest of my family, they're very barbecue on the weekends if we can. Summer events, family reunions, they're very face to face, wanting to meet all the time. And I know a lot of my family is very depressed or lonely. I have an aunt who doesn't like to leave her house normally. And since COVID, she now developed panic attacks, just going to check her mail. So it's been hard. I think we've all made milestones in what we can do to keep in touch and how to improve on these times, but can't wait. I feel like there's that little light at the end of the tunnel now that vaccines are in. Might be a tiny light, might be a little bit bigger. Still judging my distance right now in this tunnel, but there is one. So I'm, hoping things get. I'm hoping it's uphill from here.
Um, how does your beliefs, your spiritual beliefs play into being able to handle all the difficulties of life? Would you like to express about that?
Yeah. My spiritual beliefs is, put your faith, don't lose it. Don't lose your faith. And the way that I see it is, whatever people believe, just have faith in that, that things will get better. There's, you stub your toe, there's a lot of pain when it happens, but after a little bit, it's going to get better. It can't be like this forever. So keep your faith that things will get better. That's not saying that things can't get worse, but after that there's always that corny saying of there's always sun after the rain. There's the rainbow after a storm, all of that. But truly, I do believe that things are going to get better. Keep your faith. I know our family, we've had some struggles, and we've had to remind ourselves that, that have faith that things will get better. Have faith in, whether it's God or whoever you believe in, that, you know, there's going to be that light at the end of the tunnel. And you might not see it right now. It might be really tiny right now, but there's that end. So,
Would you like to share about your spiritual practices and what they're about?
I'm it's I'm not really great on the verbiage, but I'm a Christian. I grew up going to church. Me at this time, I don't take my kids to church. I do still allow, some, their I let them to somewhat direct their own. I have them help direct their own teachings, if that makes sense. Like, here's a Bible. This is where we get our information. Let's do a little bit of studying, and we go from there. I keep them open to, well, this is this aspect. This is why this is believed. This is, other, are other religions wrong? Not necessarily, because me personally, I can't back up every single word in the Bible, but we do preach it, we do talk about it, we share thoughts, we study it. But yeah, Christianity is, I'm a Christian. My whole family, we grew up, my whole family, my parents and stuff, they all used to be part of the Worldwide Church of God, but I haven't gone to church in years. Haven't gone for a while. I have, there's specific churches that I won't go to, and it's not necessarily because of how they well, not necessarily because of what they say. It's kind of more so what they do. I just think if you do fundamentally, if you do the right thing with the right intentions in your heart, and you follow those 10 commandments, and you know have respect for those, that's our fundamentals of our household. So, and we'll see how things go from there.
This is a personal question for you. How
Mhm.
do you feel about forgiveness of your parents and the things about growing up? Have you forgiven, or have you had a hard time with that? Because I know for myself, I've had to do a lot of forgiveness of things of my own past history. I don't know if you're familiar with that in any way on my story,
Mhm.
but forgiveness has been a big thing for me. We had dealing with child sexual abuse and stuff like that as a child. And I
Yep.
have found forgiveness, being a Christian myself, a big aspect of being able to recover and move forward in life. Have you been able to do something like that with your parents and considering how things turned out in your family?
Yes, my parents, major forgiveness. Um, I'm still having to forgive them. Um, Meaning my mom would say something today that she would never say in her lifetime, and I'd still have to forgive her, whether she might not know what she's saying. I don't know. Um, you know, Growing up, my parents divorcing took a lot for me to forgive, believe it or not, my older brother over that. I had a very hard time because, like I said, I'm a middle child. I have an older brother who's 2 years older than me. I have a younger sister who's 2 years younger than me. My brother was the one who was chosen to go live with my dad, so it could be quote unquote fair for the adults. And um, it was so that their divorce would be, that was going to, that's what the divorce was contingent on, was who gets what kid. um and it took, like I said, it took a lot of forgiveness on my end for my parents. My dad choosing to go with another woman other than my mom. My dad abused my mom, just because he would have blackout moments from being in the military. And so just learning to forgive that and understand that everybody's got issues. Everyone does. And just accepting that that was his, and forgiving him. And then forgiving my brother, because for the longest time, it never stuck in my head that it wasn't his choice to go, and live with my dad. And, he ended up in a household where there was a lot of abuse. My sister and I, we would go visit my dad on the weekends, and, my stepmom would lash out, and she broke his nose, and he was roughly 11, 12 years old. So there was a lot of, we did see, a lot of that. Um, so it's, just definitely forgiveness is a big thing.
How do you feel like you've been able to overcome your past and be able to, move into the future from this present moment?
Using what used to be a weakness as today's strength. So, what was, a weakness yesterday, well, I'm using that to become a strength today. Meaning I can, recognize this I'm not good at. This is what was hard. This is what was breaking me down. Now, how can I understand that, one, I don't want to be that anymore. So how do I avoid that? How do so if Yeah, like, I was weak when I was younger, when I'm, with my parents and not being able to forgive anything. Well, today I don't want to be weak and not have that strength to forgive. So I want to understand how I can forgive. Um, so that weakness is now today it's become my strength. I can, understand other people a little bit better. I can, look at things from a glass half full, not only because it's half, empty as well, but why is it half empty? so that I can get to a fuller glass, if that makes sense. Um, but that's how I get through these days.
Okay, looking at, where you're at here in life now, what sort of dreams, aspirations, or goals do you have for the future?
So the future is I want to I want to start buying things and owning things. So I've always rented. We've always rented. I want to start moving into buying a house. Um, and I want to invest in, because my hobbies involve baking. I love baking. I also like eating it, but I mean, everybody's got to try the cookie dough when you make cookies. But yeah, so I want to start investing in my, I guess, retirement. I want to have more fun than I would have had as, um, I guess as like more fun than my teenage years. My early 20s, I was a mom. So graduated high school, went straight into being a mom. So when I retire, I want to have all of the fun in the world. That's my plan. I want to open a bakery, have an apartment above it. My kids want to help me run it. And that's kind of like our little picket white fence dream. Not so much as having the big house on a hill. That would be nice too, but we want something that we can, help support the kids, something that can, you know, eventually flourish. And yeah.
Sounds like you want to become an entrepreneur.
You never know. You never know. That's just kind of like one of our that's my dream that I've always loved. And then now it's becoming more of a bigger dream because my kids are wanting to go into that direction too. And it just kind of really, you know, made it that much of a reality or a possibility. So it's very exciting.
You sound very excited about that kind of opportunity for you. How do you see that opportunity playing out for yourself and making it happen?
Um, it's gonna work. It's just gonna work. So I think it's gonna happen just with the direction that our family has been going. We've been working really hard, just going through our struggles, and we've been coming out on top. We've just every day, what can we do to be that much better of a person inside and out? What can we do to be successful? And I'm pretty sure we're on the right track because, we're seeing change. And yes, it's taken years, but we're seeing it. And we've been able to, really stick to our goals, really stick to our truths, to, just we're getting up each day. We're going to do the right thing. We're going to, find a way to be successful, you
How
know.
how would you define your goals and success for yourself? I know we're talking about the bakery and everything, but how do you what kind of things do you determine that you're reaching for that success and you're reaching for those goals and dreams and aspirations to happen? Do you have plans? Do you have, explain it to me, make it really clear so we
Yes.
have an understanding about that. That would make a help a lot of folks.
Yeah. So, what we're actively doing to become successful, um, is where it can be something, like struggling to get up in the morning. It could, things like that. We're actively finding ways to help that morning start, such as, well, maybe we'll turn on the alarm to some upbeat music. I don't know. Maybe we'll make a family activity in the morning, like make pancakes. I don't know. To outlining and researching, what are something like business plans. I know, what does it take to become a business woman, or my fiance to be a businessman. Where should we be putting our money? Really looking at, where is our money going? If we stopped and bought, um I don't know, if we stopped and bought a bottle of wine for the weekend or something, a cheap bottle, well, maybe there's another bottle, or maybe we just don't need to, just finding other ways to save money. Um, that's, we've been improving on that. Like in the past, my fiance used to be a smoker. He quit smoking and put that into a savings account. Um, you know, just that's pretty much where we've been at, showing, our kids how to, also be a little more conscious on spending habits. That's been our major focus. Spending habits, where we're keeping our money, where we're, things along those lines. And um, but yeah, and then doing our research, our due diligence on what's it actually going to entitle. If this is our dream that we want, and we want to, retire and have a bakery with an apartment on top, is that really something that we can retire on? No, I don't think we can actually just have that and retire on it and we'll be fine. We also looked into, so my fiance got his CDL license. He drives big semis. Right now he's driving for an asphalt company. But he got that with the intention of, when we retire, we'll have the bakery in the apartment, but to help sustain a lot of that, we'll still get to travel and use his license and just, live in a truck for a week or so and travel to the East Coast and see family, and then still have that income coming in as well.
Smart thinking. Um, as we wrap this up, do you have anything you'd like to share with the audience to kind of wrap things up as far as that's concerned, about your story and your experience, strength, and hope? And you'd like just, really, share that experience, strength, and hope with folks?
Of course. So one of the little things that I also, growing up as a child with divorced parents and seeing struggles and what happens when there's health issues, mental health, as well. There's, I'm not going to say, I haven't gone through more struggles too. Like when I was 22, I was homeless in my car with my daughter. My first marriage failed. So went from that to, um, having my kids, providing a roof over their head. I'm getting married in May, so it's, you get knocked down, keep your faith. There's going to be, there's going to be a turnaround. You can just hold on to that faith, keep your head held high, always have your goals, always have your goals. If you want to be a better person, you can be a better person. If you want to be, you want to be more successful, you can be more successful. And being successful does not always mean, having loads of money. That's also, a lot of people, they lose track of that. They think, I'm successful if I've got, hundreds of thousands of dollars in my bank account. No, live within your means, be a positive person, make a difference, whether it's, like I said, helping that person who can't reach the top shelf at the grocery store, you know, um, just having that positive outlook, having that positive feeling on the inside, and you will pass that on the outside. So
Well, thank you so much for sharing your experience, strength, and hope at Declares to Light for Life. It's about life. I'm going to end the recording now and then we'll talk for a little bit afterwards. I'm going to give you some big heads up on some things.
Of
So,
course.
so just a moment.
Thank you.